Okay, I figured out our problem for the calculator and I got the emulator working, so I can kind of walk you through clicking on statistics, going to edit. You're going to edit your list 1 for your temperatures. 92, you should be able to input those. 102, 97, 104, 108. Okay, so I got my temperatures entered and I got the attendance entered, and we were doing everything we were supposed to be doing. The one issue we were having was our domain. So when we go to statistics, we can go to calculator, we can go down to linear regression, and L1 and L2 is given. We're going to go ahead and store that function as a variable in the y variable for function, and we're going to just call it y1. And then we're going to go ahead and hit calculate. Doing that, it gives us an A value and a B value. Looks like we've got a little bit different numbers. So I'm going to go back to statistics. I'm going to go to edit. Did I put in the numbers correct here? Oh, it looks like I didn't type in 332, 307. So going back to statistics, calculate, linear regression, everything's there. I'm going to go ahead and put it back into the y variable function for y1. Going to go ahead and calculate it. And that gives us what we got there. So going back and checking, I didn't hit the right button. So now if I were to graph this, if I go to graph and I go to my function that I'm graphing is that linear regression because I told it to store it into y1. But when I go to graph it, I can't see anything, and that's because of my window is set from -10 to 10 and then -10 to 10. But all of our data points are in the hundreds, 200s, or 300s, 400s even. So if I go to my window and I think of my x value, so my minimum of my x value, let's just say it's 90. My maximum of my x value, it can be at 110. My minimum of my y value here is, what's the smallest number? Let's say 150. And then the largest, say 400. So now when I graph it, I'll see part of the line. You can see it's going to be going down, which is we expect. Here's where we'll be able to trace it. We're going to be able to trace within that window. So if we wanted to know what the output of 90 degrees would be, we plug 90 into that linear expression, and our calculator can do that if we're in the right window. Your window can be larger. You could go from 0 to 400, and then 0 to 400 in your y. And if I graph that, then you're only going to get this window. But when you hit calc, you should be able to put in an x value from 0 to 200. So if I put in 90, it's going to give me that same output. If I put in 115, it's going to give me the output of what that point would be if I plug in 115. And then it should show it to you kind of on the graph, but it looks like the y value is above that window. So the domain is what matters, and the window needs to fit kind of that domain. So you need to change your window to fit so that when you trace it, or if you go to calculate the zero value or calculate the value, x at 90, you're inputting the value within the range for the x. So your x min and your x max. Before it was probably -10 to 10. And if you do that, if I put in -10, it doesn't like that window. Let's see, -10. Zoom, if I zoom standard 6, I think the standard window is -10 to 10. So if I go to try to graph that, I'm still graphing that same point, but I can't trace anything. If I plug in -10, it gives it to me all the way to 10, right? Like you found out before, but as soon as I put in 11, it says you're out of that domain. So you have to change your window. That was our one problem we were not looking at. So apologize for the delay it took today, and hopefully this video helps. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll see you on Thursday.